Oh, well, this was recorded on May 3rd, 2025. May 3rd, 2025. Today is Saturday. This was just recorded a few hours ago, and this has got to go to the internet because of the suicidal attitude which mother displayed during MK Ultra. Police unfortunately poisoned my mother to the degree that I'm not going to say that she became unrecognizable, but in many ways she became completely unrecognizable. And it was indifferent today when she returned home from visit to the father. By the way, home for elderly people, Novomeški dom za starejše občane, all the management, social worker, a previous director, a new director, Mateja Jeric, Nurse Janko and everybody claimed that I would get my father home and I would take care of myself when this case is finished. That's for sure. That's damn and right. That's exactly what's going to happen. But the accent from the police side was on my mother. And my mother claimed that once this case, as soon as the case becomes recognized, that there will be a big stone that will fall off her heart. This is what she wanted, and it's what I will never understand, how much my mother suffered because of all this, what this stuff have done to her. During MK Ultra, I was begging her, oh mommy no, oh mommy no. But she insisted, yes, as soon as this case gets over, I will take my life. I don't want any more, and so on and so forth. Well, and then there is that other side of the mommy. The poisoning, claims of my father, why he didn't want to be at home no more. Mother's views on this situation, as she doesn't want to be anywhere near father, etc., etc. Old man, take care. Want to have last years in freedom, and so on. Natasha Pirtz-Moser, you and your mama, many years happy with my niece, with her husband, etc., etc. It was it was different sides that applied to this issue, applying to my mother. Sister claiming me that if I will come close to them, if they will see that I keep chasing him, that they will eventually allow me to come and will show themselves up and so on. It all depends on how I'm going to pursue the whole thing, etc., etc. My sister was very, very, very into a fake death certificate, post-life, etc., that type of stuff. It's hard to know what's going on, what went on, but whether that be a good mama or that be a bad mama, or in other words, caught with the pants down as somebody who played along police, and there is absolutely no doubt about it. There is absolutely no doubt about it. In crimes that would deprive my father of life, well, my father is, thanks God, still alive. And so because my father is still alive, there is still hope for my mother. I was very straight with my mom. If anything happens to the father, you are next. You're next. In other words, you're no longer my mom. You're going to go through entire police process, and I personally will make sure that you get whatever you deserve. That's all there is, based on law and justice. And it won't be easy for you, whether that be inside of the psychiatric hospital or inside of the prison. I will be personally making sure that you pay your dues to society. I told her all about this stuff. One way or the other, today I had an incident that I would not want to keep with me, because if anything happens, I would not want to be seen as someone who took part in it. When she returned back home from my father, visit to my father, which she does very diligently on a daily basis, she didn't say, "Hello, son, good morning, good day to you," whatever. She greeted me with exactly what you have seen with issue concerning the potitza, I don't know how you say that, the bakery that you have seen that she prepared. There is more of this garbage that she keeps downstairs. And it's also the garbage my mother have threatened me with. She will continue to eat based on whatever my conduct is going to be toward her. And my conduct toward her, the way she interpreted it during MK Ultra, we were based basically on the silence in return for psychological and also poisoning effects I would endure at this time. In other words, if I would continue to expose her for what she is doing, she would eat garbage, deliberately poisoning herself, drink poisonous coffee with extra stuff that would cause her damage, and also eat the garbage that you have seen. She was doing this stuff. That means that she is, I don't know what it means exactly, but I'm gonna check this out. Yeah, well, it says here terminally ill means condition expected to end in death. But it also says here it's irreversible or incurable. In other words, terminal illness does not go away. Well, of course, illnesses are different. Mental illness can also be a big problem. I am not going to say that her illness cannot be cured, because her illness is related to the police. It's a police that it is Slovenian Ministry of Interior, Slovenian Parliament, Slovenian police that built crisis on my mother is poor mental health. This is an older lady that came to the more and more wrong conclusions, based on which police continue to build inside of her, in her mind, pointed out as the solutions. The outcome resulted in more and more and more poor and poorer mental decisions. So they severely distorted reality, a picture of reality in her. I'm not going to say that this is irreversible, that this is terminal, but the way that things are, she will have to get assistance from people, including correctional officers, as well as psychiatric people, to correct her understanding about reality based on what I see. Of course, there is also another possibility. Because of the police involvement in this, there is also a possibility that she has to play out her part. There is absolutely no doubt about it, because everything she does is based on MK Ultra scenario. absolutely everything. She got the clearance to do from police and also from the British royals, from Prince Charles. He got involved in absolutely every crazy issue, whatever it was. The Slovenian side searched for salvation in Prince Charles, now King Charles. She got a clearance for this basically through British royals who made other parties involving this crime ratify crimes on a contract, every one of them, and that includes European Union commissioners, includes US Justice Department of State, or I should say US government. It involves absolutely all the parties. It was presented to me as some form of, we'll see if you're normal, basically if I'm normal, like a school and a test of normality. Well, it certainly doesn't look like, and it's my human dignity that dictates me that my mother will have to demonstrate me a very reasonable understanding of what society is based upon. Laws, basically. She will have to understand me. It doesn't matter if you see yourself in a family, whatever it is that you do, but you do have to abide laws, even if you don't see yourself in a family. Me personally, I never ever insisted on my mother is marriage. If she doesn't feel like being with a father, whatever, hey, you can divorce, you can get yourself another man, you can reserve your life to yourself. You can just get yourself, we have a house, get yourself one of the rooms, whatever, and you live separate life. It's a big house. This is of no problem to me. In fact, I proposed this issue for her. I told her, let me take care of the father, let me prepare the food, let me take care of everything about the father. That's all there is. She wasn't happy about any of that stuff. My mother did work very hard for the father his entire life. She cooked, she washed for him, she took care of him, absolutely everything. I can understand frustration and absolutely everything, but I don't understand what other than doing favors to Milan Kučan, to Novo Mesto police, to psychiatrist Petar Kapš, to Slovenian parliament, to Slovenian justice system, gaslighting, driving one insane in every inch, every millimeter of the way, would this have to do with me? If not, I don't understand. And for that matter, for those reasons I stated, she's going to have to demonstrate me a respectable, before I give up on her, understanding of how everything functions. And I'm not going to say as normal, but, well, that's my father. That's a family member. That's my father. And he's old now. He's old. When I proposed for one to be incarcerated many years ago, when he dumped me into the psychiatric hospital, Slovenian state prosecutor, police told me, no, that doesn't work like this. We won't do that. We're going to do it only once. And when we're going to do it, he's not going to come back anymore. And he's going to suffer beyond reasonable, possible. This is basically what you have seen they have done to my father. Before I left to his aunt, they commenced, once I left to Slovakia in 2018, and you were able to see how that stuff went for him. Father did not come down. My mother was driving him crazy, reminding him of the stuff that he owes to the police, he owes to Slovenian state, he went on and absolutely fulfilled everything they wanted him. And this is how they ended this stuff for him. They're ending it for him. As for my mother, she played as selected by Milan Kucan, together with my niece, with her husband Mitya Weber, a completely separate, different role. Yes, but that still doesn't mean that one is better than the other, or worse, or whatever the case might be. That's my father. There was a time where you could easily rehabilitate him by accommodating him at the local prison facility, make one understand what it means to be punished by the law for violating law, for doing criminal stuff. And if that would have happened, my father would well function, normally live to another probably to 120, with be completely normal person. People, once they get incarcerated, they get understanding of what is punishment, they get understanding of what will happen to you if you violated the law, they get to understand that they are nothing special, that there is no privileges applying to them, regardless. And with my father's case, that's exactly the opposite, because if he experienced any kind of issue because of my case, the only thing he did was he complained to the police, and police always fix it for him. So they teached him exactly reversed the most criminal opposite way. You understand? So doing that, it would save him life. Yeah, if you send him for the 6 months to a prison facility, or for 12 months, that would not break him. They make prisoners understand. They make prisoners understand what is the solitude, what means to be punished, what means to get in return for displaying of violence and so on. You get that type of treatment. They teach you sooner than later. They treat you all the tricks in the book that you believed do not apply to you. And the best trick they teach you is that you're nothing special. The best trick they teach you, you're just another citizen. And in case of further violations, you will be again treated as according to your acts. Well, this is what my mother nor father have absolutely any kind of understanding of. This is important to explain. And so, punishment that my father got was designed in such a way so that it would not only destroy, kill my father. This was a death penalty they did to my father. Why didn't you sentence your Milan Kucan or Lojze Peterle or Janez Janša to the death sentence? Did you? Why didn't you send to your Slovenian politicians to this stuff? Why do you go always and you concentrate on a family violence? Why do you always have to resolve these things like this if you're justice-oriented people? I will never forget Slovenian police. I will never forget domestic game warden when he told me there will be time when you will not even be capable to catch fish from Krka River. Why don't you do things by the law? Why are you looking to distort the law and interpret the law yourself? Who the fuck are you to misinterpret, to abuse law based on your own lunacy, insanity, violence, rage that is inside of you, Borut Pahor? Who are you to misuse the law, to abuse the law? Are you the kings? Are you grafs? What are you? What are you so special about, you owners of the Slovenia? Who are you? What do you think? You live in a failed system that you can do with the people whatever you want to do. Who are you to substitute constitution and laws and judges and so on and privatize psychiatry, police, for your ethnic cleansing agenda. For one thing, you're fucking nobody and a nothing. You are prison service do, Robert Golub. This is all you are. This is all you ever were. Just another criminal. That's all there is to it. That found with a bunch of other hyenas a target in a small individual, using even his family against him. This is what makes you, that's how big you really are. When it comes to my mother, father without a doubt learned his lesson. Now, father was hospitalized in such a way so they could cause me as much harm as possible, to cause me as much damage as possible, for me to go waste time over there, for me to even get locked up, imprisoned. They believe they're going to prove me, my being behind hospitalization of the father, doing stuff to the father. That's how they did. Father was hospitalized to break my spine even further. That was the reason of the Slovenian police for the father's hospitalization. To get me destroyed, to get me killed as much as possible. My mother didn't get any kind of punishment in the form of what I stated. She see herself as really special, as privileged administrative part in our home, as selected by Milan Kuchan, psychiatrist Peter Kapsch. And we have to learn this, demonstrate the understanding, the basic understanding of what I stated in this video. She always will be welcome home, just like father. Always. This is their home. I never was here to take home away from them. I prefer this house, this home, to be seen as their home. I don't have any kind of problem of them being masters in this home. It doesn't bother me. It really doesn't bother me. It never bothered me. I was always just trying to be of help. I enjoy seeing my parents doing their stuff. I never wanted to have my parents go away from home. I don't believe in home for elderly care. I don't believe in anything out there that would be suitable enough for my parents other than home. Me taking care of them when they no longer can take care of themselves. That's all I ever believed. But there's one thing I'm not going to allow in this case, is for one family member to go and take on another family member, weaker family member, because of his own convenience, because of this types of issues. Basically, I don't allow this. I don't allow, and when it comes to these issues, I will punish. I will punish most severely. I will not even think about punishing most severely through the law, using the law, of course. My father right now should be fishing. My father right now should be sleeping inside the room where I am watching TV, living her life, basically. Going with me here and there. And they took absolutely everything away from him. And my mother was the one who made him also unwelcome at home. And this is his home. Just as his home, her home. Until she understands this, till she acknowledges what I stated, she's going to have to deal with the law, because this is just the way it is. I will require her to understand completely who she is, what she is inside of this home, and also pertaining to my case, acknowledge what I have gone through, because she have absolutely no respect for me. It's everything based on complete disrespect, lies. She, on the other hand, does help financially, and this is where I'm going to stop shortly, because absolutely everything else is a manipulation designed by police, MK Ultra program, and so on, through the poisoning. That is exactly correct. Ratified by British King, now British King Charles, royals from London. Unfortunately, when you ratify as the top of the pyramid, it's all other politicians that even become irrelevant, even if they did ratify this stuff. And the crimes I'm talking about only become possible. Those crimes as such only become possible when a state like I'm in, Slovenia, has somebody ability to blame somebody else for the crime. And they do this by involving investigators in your post-mortem certificates, selected investigators who are demonstrated this somewhat was not their fault, and in the end they also played recordings and such from foreign politicians, including royalties, who afterwards completely dismissed the case. That's how this kind of stuff is done, this kind of crime. So, I was talking to you about deliberate self-poisoning. I was talking to you about my mother threatening me that if I will be writing negative, she will be eating poisoning, deliberately poison herself. If I will be talking to her about positive and will not see the crime. By the way, in 7 days, it will be May 11, and there will be a birthday, another birthday of my father. If I will be talking about her in a positive way, she will live happy, friendly with me, and so on. It does not work like this. It does not work like this. We are still a family, one way or the other, and I am determined to deliver this case all the way to the end based on the law and order. That's all there is to it. I don't think she's ever gonna take care of my father again. That will all depend on him. I will. But after she gets rehabilitated and everything, that I see that she has a reasonable understanding on how it all functions, and I'm not going to even say that she doesn't have one, but she is under impression of something thoroughly that does not even exist. That's basically a complete police ownership of this case. Like, police are trying to demonstrate that they're in control of me, that they're in control of this case, that Slovenian diplomacy through Tanja Fajon is doing her best basically to assert everything they brainwashed her during MK Ultra, everything that she have seen, they have done through with foreign diplomats and so on, everything is in place and so on, which is absolutely not. The last time desperate Miran Sudin committed me to psychiatric hospitalization, attempted to hospitalize me, was on October the 30th of 2024. And I remember his words from MK Ultra when he claimed me, you will be hospitalized one way or the other. So that's what I call desperate. When you have no reason and you continue to act based on your promises just so that you try your best to make impression not only on a targeted individual, on your victim, but on his family members, so they continue to act the way you want. That's just desperate. In my case, this is completely evident, a desperate way to nowhere, to a total wreck. Taking people along with you, as many as you can along the way, so that you can afterwards resolve the crime, if only possible, at your advantage, somehow bail yourself out. It's just really desperate. and it's going to nowhere. My mother, in this case, prepared this biscuit. I don't know how you say that, putiza. And just as I demonstrated, obviously that this was not, you could not consume that stuff. That's fucking poison. That's pure cancer. It's cremated biscuit. It's a type of cake, a type of pastry, they say, in eastern part of Slovenia. They call it putica, gibanica also. There is actually no translation. This is basically bread filled with nuts. There are no nuts here. And so that it's very popular in Slovenia and so on, but that's all there is to it. And the idea about this potica, this pastry, this cake, was to remind of the father. This is the birthday is approaching. This will be on May 11. And mother just did such a crazy stuff, also playing with the candles and doing all kinds of irregular stuff, reminding, leaving the lights on. I refer to our entrance during MK Ultra as entrance into the morgue and stuff like this. People fucking look at her strange during MK Ultra. It became obsession to I don't even know how I would refer to this stuff as. She referred to this portion of MK Ultra, of this pastry, as cremation of the father. So on one side she presented herself as somebody who will rush me to finish my job, to do my stuff, to get the father out. Yeah. But on the other side, this is, because she's doing this every fucking day of the year, clearly a lunacy, a gaslighting that had absolutely nothing to do with my nature or the stuff that I do. And is simply designed to, to gaslighten with the ambulance sirens that follow you around, that kind of stuff. That's all there is to it. There is no other purpose in it. So this was the first thing, and then the second thing applies what I already explained to you. If you will talk good, I will eat good and live for you. And everybody, and you and your mama will be happy, many years happy thereafter, and so on. Yeah, really. And if you will not talk about me nicely and so on, yeah, everybody picture in the family already me and my mama. Everybody picture father out. Well, they pictured me out too. That's too bad. On the other hand, if you will write badly about me, I'm gonna deliberately eat poison and stuff like that. Yeah. So this is the stuff that concerns my parents, their well-being, which includes mental health, that absolutely never ever should take place, and is taking place exactly because of Novo Mesto police. None more than Andrej Stefanic, who blew on her soul and was all over the place doing the stuff, playing both sides, all the sides, represented my interests that I had nothing to do with it, misinterpreted my interests, represented her interests, also at times interpreted her as not completely okay. Basically, whichever way I would see myself, that's the way it would go. Everything for everybody, except not by the law and by the order. And yet, pushing my father on a deathbed, pushing my mother into, what the fuck is this other than, I don't know, suicide. For my own sake, this is the audio I got today on a May the 3rd, 2025, just 2 hours earlier. She returned home at 11 o'clock in the morning, and exploded on me, seeing me. Why did I throw the pastry, the cake, into the trash bin, therefore? Not even interested in my explaining her why. She just wanted to have an explosive argument with me, and it was explosive, with literally her threatening me to pour boiling water in my face. Now, I did spoke about different issues pertaining to knives, and this one was about the boiling water. They play with the knives during MK Ultra, driving my mom insane with the knives, with the use of knives, encouraging my mother during MK Ultra, talking about the psychiatrist Peter Kopsch, to play with the knives, literally. Psychiatrist Peter Kopsch literally encouraged my mom to play with the knives, to threaten with the knives, to do poses with the threatening poses with the knives and stuff like that. So he clearly engaged her into psychotic pathological pathos behavior. Just as I stated, instead of correcting her behavior, they were degrading one. They were making one worse as much as possible, while making her see herself on a surface, like hiding things as much as possible so that people would not see this stuff. So this is basically what we have going on. Novo mesto, police, basically domestic violence. Let me translate this for you. My mother asks me, why did I peel the cake? Why did you peel the pastry? Why did you do this?
Isto ti poželi
Lej,
izgled.
tele imaš, če boš popapala, lej
Slišal?
lej, kaj imaš,
To ti poželi.
kaj imaš.
Tam ne bi pustil tako, kot je bilo.
Pojej je, mama, še je čas.
Hudič.
I didn't want to argue with her after she asked me, why did I peel the stuff that you already have seen. I didn't want to argue with her. Žreti, it's not eat really, devour, it's devour. I told my mom, I demonstrated her a trash bin, and I said, look, mama, it's right here. There is still time. It's right here. You can eat one. And she said, you can devour that to yourself, you Satan, and so on. I said, Mom, it's still time. This was very, very crazy, insane question. It wasn't designed because she didn't ask me because why did I actually do that? You don't have to be genius to see that stuff. You can clearly see why the fuck I did that. Obviously, why I did it. And I wanted her to understand that I'm not responding to a gaslighting, that I'm not psychologically turning myself to a psychotic answers, questioning why and so on, and debating what is rather insane to debate. So that's all I did. I just wanted her knowledge that there's still there in the trash bin, and there is still time that she can still use it if that's what she wants. Загрес, мама, загрес.
Gniden zobe podobno.
Mama, загрес. Ugrezen. I tell her, just bite, mama. Just bite, that's it, bite. She says to me that you're not gonna break your rotten teeth. And that clearly suggests that my mama wanted me to eat. She wanted that stuff for me to eat. It's like you would ridicule somebody and say, oh wow, you go, let's say you go wash your feet or something like that, or be careful that you're not going to get wet or something in that sense, right? It's not a big deal actually to eat what? Basically burnt shit like that. My mom was a big supporter of consuming totally burnt, cremated stuff during MKH. Zažgano, prežgano, one food that she referred that she was preparing to the father, and it was not burnt. It was just the name was prežganka and so on, was actually her vocabulary, and would not mind to pose in front of me eating the stuff, whatever that be burnt, gladly volunteered always, tutored that it's actually healthy to eat burnt stuff, that it's in fact good for your intestines because it cleans them on the inside.
Se pravi, tebe moti, da sem jaz skoraj vrgel stran.
Zakaj si jo pa vrgel?
Mama displays quite a nasty attitude, angry, that boom boom. This is just something that I took from the minutes that I, or maybe 2 minutes, I don't know, that I removed from the audio recording. And it just goes to show it's like boom boom. And I said to her, so you're angry, you're upset about my removing the crust like this, all burnt? And she says, why did you move one? Why did you move one?
Kaj imaš v smetnjaku, mama pojejo?
Ne, da ti ne bi krop zlila v
I said, look, it's right here. Eat it. Eat it. I want her to see what she wants me to basically eat. And she answers to me, she says to me, watch out, I'm not going to take a boiling water and splash you in your face. But she's not using the expression face, she's not using a face, but she says the word gesicht. Gesicht is a very, very, very ugly term for the face. That's basically like you would say to somebody, ugly, your ugly face, you know. This is, the origin of the word is from German language, Gesicht, face, but in Slovenian language this is extremely, extremely negative, very, very, very negative word, Gesicht. Gesicht is what you don't want to use that expression, Gesicht. Even less saying somebody they're gonna fucking throw him a boiling water, which I prepare for the coffee, in his face.
Krop mi boš v ksiht zalila.
Tako,
Kaj imaš skoraj?
I ask Mom, you gonna dump the boiling water in my gesicht? And I ask her in a funny way, because I want her to understand that what she just stated is a big mistake, actually. So if I repeat, you gonna dump boiling water in my face? Oh, come on, Mommy. Holding the trash bin in my hands, I ask her this question. And what she does is she says, oh, that's right.
Бога 5 стран от мене като му таку жвала да го жвач се двигна поклон.
She says to me, go away from me, I fuck your God. I'm gonna hit you so much that you're not gonna get up anymore.
Та бараба, я думаю, смети, я все повідла і смети. Бараба ходичила поклон.
Ще куриш поставив.
And she says to me, you bastard, actually Baraba, you bastard, yeah, you bastard, you damn bastard. I am gonna eat the trash from the trash bin, you bastard. And I said to her, it's gonna be even a worse stuff you're gonna eat. And I say to her to remind her of what she made me eat through the psychiatric system in Slovenia. Psychiatric pills are something that will only make you wish to eat trash instead. I guarantee you that. The following is what you have seen also on the video. I am talking, I have all this stuff actually now even on the camera. I pull the camera out and I continue to video record. So the following you already have seen in English was on the camera I presented with. I had a camera turned on at the same time. Prince Charles, now King Charles, Germans, French, Americans, and they were not wrong about this stuff. They all insisted me, tutored me, also with Slovenian side also, even with Robert Golob and Gregor Golobic and so on, with their teachers, the physicians that were here, they were all instructing me to absolutely not eat crumbs that are cremated and so on. You know, if you had a 3-year-old child, I think would know this stuff, that those can cause, in fact, a cancer. And so, for me to get the cancer, apparently, it's not a big deal to my mama. And that's not true. My mom didn't want to be on the picture when this case ends, one way or the other. Keep this in mind, yes, that's what I mentioned to you about that. Talk about my sister, that my sister insisted about that she would have apartment in Ljubljana and stuff like this, in other location and so on, and it's gonna be my mom that's gonna come to live with her and so on and so forth. Yeah, that kind of stuff, that she didn't want to be on the picture. I did spoke about that stuff. Was even asked by psychiatrist cops, by police, to act in a way that it will apologize my behavior in real life during MK Ultra and so on, which apparently for the people that watch my blog, you can see that more stronger than I was, more correct about the stuff I did, I possibly could not be. My MK Ultra whereabouts, whatever you have seen in me, my stuff I did in real life, whatever the fuck you have seen in me, absolutely everything was logical, absolutely everything was rational, and it is what mental health, if you have a really strong mental health, can. For more I did, you would have to have also a courage, determination, and all that other stuff that most of the people don't even dare to dream about. And trust me, next to million death threats I got, none of you would even contemplate on it. I don't search any kind of excuse for the stuff I did. It's other people who wanted to find excuse and see myself in their excuses to rationalize their violence against me, their lies. No, I don't need that stuff. It's okay. So the following is just an audio recording that pertained to the stuff that you have seen already on the camera.
This is what I gave mother. This is what I offered her when she came home from father. Made a nice set of pancakes, some with the vegetables and so on. Others not. But really healthy stuff with the eggs. Well prepared, really top of the line stuff. And she started to make this kind of remarks and other remarks. Simply because I peeled off, and I video recorded this yesterday when I peeled off. The video is actually there. When I peeled off this biscuit that she prepared, and so she came home and she started to yell, scream at me, why have I dumped in a dumpster what you're about to see? Just as you heard, mother told me right now, if I will suggest her again to go eat from the dumpster, that she will take the boiling water and dump one in my face. Let me demonstrate you what exactly I have peeled out of this I am going to take it out so that you can see it. I will do it. I don't have a problem with it. This is what I dumped in a trash bin, in a dumpster basically. So they don't want to blame me for this. I'm throwing this away. You go ahead. She demands me to eat shit like this, basically. That's how she prepares the food. And she did compare this stuff. My father is going to have a birthday on 11 of this month in a few days. And she compared what you see here during MK Ultra as a cremation of the father. So it's enough of it. She has a lot of psychotic stuff going on, and this video is going to the internet. You were able to hear even that she threatened me she's gonna kill me with the boiling water over the face for throwing this in a trash bin. I told her, Mama, just go and eat. I delivered her a trash bin, and she said, well, just as you heard, is some other remarks she had made also. It's all audio recorded stuff. So I had enough of this stuff. I figure out that this would be a better match for her, this pancakes that I prepared here. Really, really nice, like with vegetation and stuff inside. I don't know how you say that. Is it maybe in English basil or whatever? I'm not sure. Petershil. I told her, I offered her, I said, Mama, please, I prepared the nice pancakes for you. Sit and eat. And she was interested instead in why I have dumped away completely cremated, truly cremated portion of the biscuit. The top portion, surface, basically, of the biscuit. I didn't throw the biscuit away. The biscuit is here, but there's no need to get poisoned, boost your cancer, basically, with that kind of stuff. She is quite sick. Ti bi bil enkrat prav po glavo zadela. Še tega nisem veden. Glej, vidiš, tole je posneto vse.
Kaj je pa?
Nič.
Kaj je?
This was recorded on.
Ti kar snemaš.
This was recorded on. Well, today is May 3rd, Saturday, 2025. Malo gre na internet.
rimane fatta.
Prav. Lepo se me. Patka pozdrav. Patka pozdrav.
The way the tape ended was by my demonstrating mom. I asked her, so you would just go and dump the boiling water in my face? And she's like, it wouldn't make any difference. You wouldn't even know. And I say to her, okay. I say, look, this was all audio recorded. Everything is stored about the exchange you had with me right now. And she says to me, boli me patak. Basically, I don't care. And I say to her, you see, this is the attitude that is fucked up attitude. And I say to her, it's going to go to the internet. And she said, boli me patak, I don't care. And I said, okay, fine. Lepo me, have a good day. And as I walk away, I also say to her, this expression boli me patak, as I mentioned, that she told me, is like, I don't give a fuck, or, hey, grab my dick. It's not nice. Boli me patak, it's in a way you say, who cares? And so as I walk away, I say to her, and send my best regards to the patak, to the patak. Send him a best regards. And then I walk away. That was it. All this stuff was done on May the 3rd, 2025. An individual who asked and was giving instructions to Peter Kapsch, to Robert Golob about how he wants to have it, was none other than Prince Charles, now King Charles. He was the one who gave the instructions about how he would want to have my mother portrayed as. In other words, he gave a complete clearance for every crime from every criminal pathhole on the way against me, with reserving the right to get me killed, destroyed, just about any mistake I would make. The biggest criminal, the biggest scumbag who ran absolutely every crime, was involved absolutely every crime, and who at 100% rate participated in a terrorism, domestic crime inside of our house, always and forever. I have not even mentioned one. The one who brainwashed, drove my mother completely insane, next to psychiatrist Peter Kapsch, who had the biggest influence, was a neighbor, Method Ehrman. Method Ehrman was the one who promised my mother with the Andrei Stefanich would even give her a sign which would indicate if it is too late for her to commit a suicide. Therefore, if the situation would become completely without any kind of possibility to save herself legally, if one would become suspicious enough to be listed for a trial, for a criminal trial, my mother would seek a suicide at the recommendation of the neighbor Method Ehrman, police officer Method Ehrman. This is the way this stuff was. This is through whom they coordinated. This is how they did all this stuff, and this is how they even organized themselves with this stuff. A neighbor, literally a neighbor, involved in this over 40 years, over 45 years. A neighbor involved in this over 45 years who became a police officer, and who would signal my mother when even to commit a suicide if necessary, to save herself of, well, a prison system, I suppose. That's what they discussed. This was discussed in front of me. Mother would repeatedly ask Method Ehrman right in front of me, and that he will give the signal, and so on and so forth. The same shit went on with the nurse Yanko, Robert Golob, over and over and over in front of me, and you will signal, right? You will give me a sign when it's not going to be worth it, basically, for me anymore. This is the way it was. Mother also discussed in front of me, very, very, very important issue, when my time comes, nobody's going to give a fuck about me. Yeah, those are the words of my mother to me repeatedly, over and over and over and over and over and over again. We will see when my time comes. And indirectly in front of me to other people, right in front of me. Nobody will give a fuck about me, and so on and so forth. You will see, and back and forth, and this and that. Yeah. They had my mother inside of the psychiatric hospital, Ljubljana Polje. They posed with her. They had my mother inside of the prison system. They posed with her in front of me. Meaning, Stefanic, Ogulin, Juršić, directors of Novo Mesto police, as their assistants, insisted that, yeah, that's what they insisted to my parents, that if it would be a trial, that my parents would be sentenced to life in prisons, multiple life in prisons penalties. And insisted to my father that one has to go to the deathbed, and it's possible. That was Miran Sodin, that was psychiatrist Petar Kapš, that was a Novo Mesto police. Possibly they could save his life by presenting one in my eyes as innocent. Now, I don't care who you are, what part of the world you are, you would not probably want to have your parents killed, destroyed. As to, I have witnessed my father being incarcerated. I have witnessed my mother being incarcerated during MK Ultra. So, and no wonder, me too, I took in a large way side of my parents. Fact of the matter is, I don't want to lose my parents over this. That's, any normal person would look exactly in the same way as I do. And police, more than anybody, know just how normal I am. Very, very, very normal. The biggest problem was my being normal. Yeah, they misinterpreted to the world in a different way. But their biggest fear was my normality. And that's how they got my father in the system. That's how my mother got father into the system. Through the surgical table, General Hospital Novo Mesto, therefore surgical table of UKC, Universal Hospital Ljubljana, General Hospital Novo Mesto, finally through Home for Elderly Novo Mesto, just that my father should have spoken to me about this stuff just as mom should, much earlier, because this was not a way to assist them, this was a way to kill them one by one, get rid of them. Through my assistance. The audio, the video that you're witnessing is what police misinterpreted to my parents and to me as a multiple form of assistance. They misinterpreted this in my eyes by using my parents, my mother and my father, talking in front of me. Basically inciting me on how I should put this on the internet, get rid of it and so on. But an aside, they also cried. My father cried that probably never going to come home alive. And my mom, that when it's going to be her turn, she was certain that she will save father. Yeah, that she will save father. That she will save father. I don't know with what she would save father. What was exactly was her input to save father? Basically going out there, popping herself publicly, visible, to be around the father. Displaying the visibility around one. Which cannot be said that this is nothing, because at least the people can see, but that's all there is to it. When it's going to be my turn, my mother stated, that it's probably nobody going to give a fuck about me. After the father, it's going to be my turn to go into the system, and that's going to be a prison. There was a state prosecutor, judges, and politicians that pressured me, once we get one into the system, your mom, it's going to be over with. Your father maybe, but not your mother, and so on and so forth. So we have a rackety-packety, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, with the Slovenian state prosecutor, police, pressuring me foremost to keep silent, but at the same time, that once they get the mother into the system, yes, they determined that my mother is ill, that she is not well, that she is into crime against father, and brainwash my father with it, etc., etc., etc. That once they get her in their system, it's all over, it's finished, and so on and so forth, and so on and so forth. Not really. I am the psychiatrist in Slovenia now. I am the judge in Slovenia right now. I am the police officer in Slovenia right now. I am the prosecutor in Slovenia right now. This investigation is being enforced by myself personally. I was the one who put them on trial, every one of them. Slovenian state, I should say, put me on trial. I responded to Slovenian state by resolving entire crime. And thus I will be the one deciding about who's going to be taken, where is going to be taken, etc., 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 etc. None of the stuff you interpreted about my parents and so on and so forth is real. None of it is true. You can kill them. That's one thing you can do, but you can kill me. You can kill anybody you want. Fact of the matter is, for 53 years, no less, you were killing me. Oh yes, my mother, in fact, was certain. They absolutely convinced her. Nurse Jerić, psychiatrist from Ljubljana Polje, it's in her best interest to disappear through the legal system, and this way deliver father at home, etc., 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 and had me visit my mother in penitentiary, and so on, something I already have spoken about. Oh yes, you better believe it, this crime was part of MK Ultra too. Also this one, yes, that's right. You could say that this was used to save my parents from me. No, this was used to get me killed. This was used to get me killed. Not to save the parents. Slovenian state doesn't give a three fuck about anyone in Slovenia, for that matter. The least about my parents. This was used for Slovenian state to save itself, to the murderous, genocidal, criminal Slovenian state, Slovenian nation, to save itself from the trial. This is what this shit was used for. And it's not about Slovenian state only, it's about the people who provided alibi, crime, as I explained in this video, to Slovenian state. The one that empowered Slovenian state to go on with it. The one that provided criminal alibi for Slovenian state. So Slovenian state could just go and just do whatever the fuck they want. And I did spoke about European Union commissioners, about none more than British royals. Washington DC, US Justice Department of State, etc., etc. United Nations too, yes. None of the crime like this is possible without a complete consent, complete agreement with these people, with one another. None of it. Always it's investigated through the EHCR, that's Human Rights Agency, Human Rights Ombudsman, as we're all involved in this case, from European Union, European commissioners, US Justice Department of State people, not only politicians and so on, not only investigated by the police, every crime before they enforce one. Stuff like this is an international case, was thoroughly investigated by the human rights agencies, human rights courts, etc., etc. The crime for which Nurse Janko, maybe more than anybody, was completely insane about, claiming that regardless of what it is, you're never supposed to offer your mother food from the trash bin. That's what this shit is all about. Nurse Janko, psychiatrist Kapsch, Tanya Fayon, Robert Golob, they were crossing themselves when they realized during MK Ultra that if anything like this is going to be done, I would show my mother literally a trash bin. Food in a trash bin, basically. And ask her to eat it herself. This shit was involved in MK Ultra. This is complete rehearsal of MK Ultra. This incident is rehearsal of MK Ultra too. What I will do is, and what this evidence should serve, is to point out the extremism, basically the extreme, the criminals involved in MK Ultra I mentioned, and many I did not. Neighbors, I did not even mention them except the neighbor Method Yerman. All the neighbors participated in this stuff. Goes to show to extreme they were willing to compromise, commit themselves to accent the words such as poisoning, right? That's an issue. A big issue was poisoning, 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 poisoning. So think about this video when you read the stuff that I have wrote on my blog. It goes to demonstrate the distance they have committed themselves to paint certain issues in my head. I'm not saying that there was no poisoning. Psychiatrist Peter Kapsch used chips known as paprika, a pepper chips, a pudding, the two things, puddings, and in particular, as psychiatrist Peter Kapsch claimed, was a chips, a pepperoni chips, together with the Andrei Stefanic, assistants of Igor Juršić, Novo Mesto Police Department, claimed me with other police officers, laugh in my face. This is going to be a form of punishment for you. Yes, you understand? A form of punishment you will be getting whenever you will not be good. It will be delivered to you by your mama. During MK Ultra, they feed with the pudding, and they feed tremendously a lot when poisoned. Kidney, liver poisoning, chips, such as the one that I mentioned, and it was repeated to me in my face in our house by psychiatrist Peter Kapsch, by police officers, was to be served as a poison. It is a poison. It's a poison. The biggest poison, however, is brain poisoning, toxic brain poisoning through the torture procedure that was done. In an environment like this, abusive environment like this, the chances that you would not reach out for poisoning, since you're called even a dung, is shit. Everything but a human being if you start to feed yourself properly with a normal food. And food is not properly refrigerated, left outside of the refrigerator. You don't go in a store for half a year so the selected food can be delivered to you and so on. Poisoning, yeah, poisoning. This issue was used to centrify, to amplify issue of the poisoning. The criminals from the Novo Mesto stores, Eurospin, Lidl, Hofer, Mercator, all accented to me in front of the police, with psychiatrist Peter Kapsch. When it all ends, the MK Ultra, that I don't see you one more time going in the store and buying yourself a cookies and chips and so on. That's what this shit is used. This is what Slovenian state invested into. This is what this shit is about. The following, everything is in Slovenian. What can I say? If you don't understand Slovenian, this is the end of the video. Explanation about what this is all about. This was involved, everything was involved and ratified by the British, by the European Commission, by the criminals, politicians involved in MK Ultra, because they think the depression is an ice cream. It's a cookie. It's a joy. It's a joke. And if it's a 53-year-old torture based on forced unemployment, then what became psychiatry still is a fucking joke. They always got it right. Including in this video. That's right, damn right. Yes, sure. MK Ultra torture, MK Ultra lynching, bestiality, MK Ultra is none other than imitation of the schizophrenia. Thanks for watching this video. The following is everything in Slovenian language. You don't like my translation. Still, here is the portion completely in Slovenian language. You can translate one to yourself. This was entire breakdown of this crime, and it's a very important one for you to understand the circumstances they twisted around me when it comes to this so-called MK Ultra violence, brutality, whatever you want to call this. I call it simply a genocide that erased me 53 years of life. Psychiatrist Peter Kapsch was excited about this. He was completely mad, insane about it. Already started to instigate sometimes in 2008 that he created out of me something like a voodoo doll, punctured with numerous issues from all directions, all corners. Compare that to the spider net, claiming me that what I was suggested, because this is what they do. During MK Ultra, Britons, British Royals, Americans, what they do is they want you to enleave yourself in animal characters, Superman characters, Spider-Man, all kinds of fucking man characters. Spider-Man is like, you will be, this is like a spider, it's like a net you will be developing, researching this crime. And as you do this, you will knit this net around these criminals, and that's how they catch themselves in it. And psychiatrist Peter Kapsch was convinced that it's going to be one or the other. He claimed that there's a very great possibility that the net he entangled me into, this is a fantasy land that he created in Slovenia, truly asylum on open, a concentration camp on open. He claimed there is a great possibility that I would net myself in it because of the net that he created. And it would be exactly the opposite of what Americans suggested. So certainly Spider-Man did not help me, nor did Superman. It did, however, help those that made songs on a subject of Spider-Man. It doesn't come to me which. They even make sarcastic videos, jokes on Superman, Ronald Reagan, Doomsday Clock, and so on. Fantasyland videos and stuff like this, laughing at me, entire Hollywood. Certainly was a great assistance to them, depicting me as nobody and nothing, demanded for me to see myself as a total loser. That's how British royals did this. No, I don't think so. They even dare to think about it. The following, everything is in Slovenian. All the perversions now are out. It's over, baby, with. The following is in Slovenian language. Enjoy. May 3rd, 2025. The following, everything is Slovenian. Thanks for watching this video. Till next time. Ooh, boy, psychiatrist Peter Kapsch hated that end of the videos. And when I think about how poor I really was, I had nothing to support myself, nothing to lean against, nothing to help myself with. I'm sure these days he loves that. Till next time, with entire now Master Police Department. You should have seen their emotions, ocean of emotions, when they were stopping by and talking about the stuff I record and so on. Boy, 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 boy. it makes me laugh when I think about it today. That time I was really in a bad situation. Today, when I think about, when I recall these people, oh, the following is all in Slovenian language. That's the end of the video. Slovenian language from here on.
Zakaj si po lupu zapisal? Zakaj si je v lupu?
Če boš jedla, kaj imaš?
Tisto ti poželi
Glej,
izgledati.
tele imaš. Če boš popapala, glej. Kaj imaš?
Slišal?
Glej, kaj imaš?
To ti poželi.
Kaj imaš?
Tam ne bi pustil tako, kot je bilo.
Pojej, mama, še je čas.
Hudič.
Zagriješ, mama, zagriješ.
Mirne zobe podobno.
Mama, zagriješ, zagriješ. Ugrezen. Se pravi, tebe moti, da sem jaz skoraj vrgel stran.
Zakaj si je pa vrgel?
Kaj imaš v smetnjaku, mama, pojejo?
Glej, da ti ne krop zlila v
Krop mi boš v ksiht zalila.
Tako,
Pa tega imaš sredi. Na, kaj imaš skoraj?
Boga pet stran od mene, ker te mu tako žvala, da ne boš več se dvignil po konju. To je ta baraba, jaz bom iz smeti jedla. Zakuje, bo vse bom jedla iz smeti. Baraba, hudičeva po konju.
Še hujš bo s tabo. This is what I gave mother. This is what I offered her when she came home from father. Made a nice set of pancakes, some with the vegetables and so on. Others not. But really healthy stuff with the eggs. Well prepared, really top of the line stuff. And she started to make this kind of remarks and other remarks. Simply because I peeled off, and I video recorded this yesterday when I peeled off. The video is actually there. When I peeled off this biscuit that she prepared, and so she came home and she started to yell, scream at me. why have I dumped in a dumpster what you're about to see? Just as you heard, Mother told me right now, if I will suggest her again to go eat from the dumpster, that she will take the boiling water and dump one in my face. Let me demonstrate you what exactly I have built out of this I am gonna take it out so that you can see it. I will do it. I don't have a problem with it. This is what I dumped in a trash bin, in a dumpster basically. So they don't want to blame me for this. I'm throwing this away. You go ahead. She demands me to eat shit like this, basically. That's how she prepares the food. And she did compare this stuff. My father is going to have a birthday on 11 of this month in a few days. And she compared what you see here during MK Ultra as a cremation of the father. So it's enough of it. She has a lot of psychotic stuff going on, and this video is going to the internet. You were able to hear even that she threatened me she's gonna kill me with the boiling water over the face for throwing this in a trash bin. I told her, Mama, just go and eat. I delivered her a trash bin, and she said, well, just as you heard, is some other remarks she had made also. It's all audio recorded stuff. So I had enough of this stuff. I figure out that this would be a better match for her, this pancakes that I prepared here. Really, really nice, like with vegetation and stuff inside. I don't know how you say that. Is it maybe in English basil or whatever? I'm not sure. Petershil. I told her, I offered her, I said, Mama, please, I prepared the nice pancakes for you. Sit and eat. And she was interested instead in why I have dumped away completely cremated, truly cremated portion of the biscuit. The top portion, surface, basically, of the biscuit. I didn't throw the biscuit away. The biscuit is here, but there's no need to get poisoned, boost your cancer, basically, with that kind of stuff. She is quite sick.
O, mama. Ti bi bil meni kar prav po glavo zbila. Še tega nisem veden. Glej, vidiš. Tole je posneto vse.
Kaj pa?
Nič.
Kaj je?
This was recorded on...
Ti kar snemaš?
This was recorded on... Well, today is May 3rd. Saturday, 2025. Mama ali gre na internet?
Boži mene pa tako.
Prav. Lepo se mej. Patka pozdrav. Patka pozdrav.